Tamily. It's time for our 10th Ask Tamily interview. I cannot believe we've talked to 9 and we're about to talk to 10 Tamily members. And we have at least about 20 more on the list. If you want to get on the list, let us know. And today, we're going to be talking with Star. Now, this is always the most critical moment to make sure the connection happens. It says it's connecting. And hello! How are you, gorgeous lady? Okay. To turn up my volume. There we go. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being our 10th Ask Tamily interview.
Thank you for giving me motivation to get up and not look like crap.
Absolutely. I always do my workout after these interviews. So
I did it before this morning.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and start with the first question we've been asking all of the interviews, which is, when and how did you start with the Tracy Anderson method?
So it's been like 2 years, I guess, like in November. And I did like Pure Barre, and I was a member at Equinox for like a couple of years, and that's what I was doing, but I wasn't like happy with, I don't know, it was like I got results at first, and then I started to like not be happy with what was going on. And so like randomly at this time period, like people doing Tracy stuff just started popping up in my Instagram. And like the first person I took notice of was Loretta, because she's in there, and you're like, oh, what can I do to look like this person? And so I followed all that stuff for a while, but I was like, I don't know, this looks pretty crazy, I don't know if I want to do this. But I just decided to give it a try and got hooked on it. So that is how I found out about it.
Awesome. Did you start with streaming?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I went right into advanced class, which I don't know if that was like the best thing, but I was in good shape, and so I was capable of doing the stuff. I do think you miss a little bit of kind of like the fundamental stuff doing that, but it also, I don't know, I was able to do it, so I thought it was good that I was doing it at that level.
Yeah, absolutely. What type of results have you seen with this method compared to other fitness methods?
For me, it was just like, what was frustrating me about what I had been doing before was like, I felt like I was doing a lot. Like I was working out every day, like sometimes twice a day, doing all this stuff, but I didn't feel like I looked like that, like I didn't feel like I looked like somebody who was doing anything special, even though I kind of think that I was. Because I was doing a lot of stuff. I'm trying to like set up something here because I'm holding my phone. Anyway, and so just through doing this, I started to look like what I thought I should look like all along, which is just like leaner, and I've lost like 14 pounds. Yeah, which like surprised me because it wasn't like I felt like I had a bunch of weight to lose, but I just I didn't look long and lean like I thought. I did Pure Barre, and that's like a big thing that they talk about. It's like lean muscles and stuff. And at first, like that was what I got, but at some point it became like bulky stuff, And this got me to where I thought I should be, and like consistently, like it's only gotten better since I started doing it. And so I have faith that that's going to continue, whereas I lost faith in the other stuff that I was doing.
Okay. So what is your routine about fitting the workout in your life?
I do it in the morning, which was a struggle for me at first, but I just forced myself to do it, and now like I can't imagine not doing it in the morning, because like the idea of coming home, like if I don't do it in the morning, like coming home to do it, I'm just like, I don't want to do that, like I'm tired and whatever. So now I get up around like 5:15. I work for the government, so I have to be at work at a very specific time. Okay. And so I just do it then, and I also just feel so much better now. Like, you go to work and like, I've already accomplished some stuff, everyone. And also like I wake up with like such a puffy face. And so when I don't do it, I'm like putting on my makeup in the morning. I'm like, ooh, this is bad. Because I've already sweat out all that crap that like I got from sleeping at night. So that's just been motivating me to like get up and do it.
So do you stick mostly with the advanced muscular structure? Do you also do dance cardio in the mornings as well?
No, because I ain't getting that early. If I do anything dance cardio stuff, I'll do that after work, like if I actually have energy to do it. But I don't do it very often. Like periodically I'll go through phases where I'm like, I'm going to commit to doing this. But it doesn't really work out. So, yeah. I mostly do the advanced class, but like some weeks, if something, a lot of what will get me is like I'm physically able to do it, but like sometimes when it's too twisty turny, I'm very sensitive to like motion stuff like that.
Okay.
And so I will just do IMC on those weeks.
Okay. What's your philosophy about rest days?
I don't schedule them because life has a way of doing that for you. And so if I schedule it, it'll end up being like, okay, that day I'm not going to work out, and then, you know, I'll have some horrible thing happen at work, or I just like, I have insomnia, or like, so I won't sleep well or whatever, and then life is handing me that rest day when I shouldn't have taken a scheduled one. But like, generally speaking, like my plan is to do it every day. I don't plan on like, I'm going to take a day off. So that's kind of how I handle that. I just let life dictate when that's going to happen.
Okay. How do you stay motivated to do a workout on a regular basis?
I mean, I haven't struggled too hard with that. I've been working out consistently for probably like 15 years now. But, you know, like any human being, I will go through phases where I'm like, I just don't want to do this anymore. And, you know, you just kind of have to like get through it and realize that's going to go away. Because I think the temptation is to just be like, well, it's this thing I'm doing. Like, I don't want to do this thing anymore. And it's like, no, like, that's not what it is. You're just going through a thing. You've got other stuff going on. You're tired. You have work stuff. So, you know, I just kind of, like, trust that, like, going through those phases where you don't feel like it is just part of the process. And then, you know, just the results do that, you know? Like, at the end of the day, it's like if you know, I've probably, since I started doing this a couple times, have just like not done it for like 2 weeks, and it's like, oh, there were benefits of that, and lose them. Well, plus it's like I don't want to have to worry about like getting back strength or whatever. Like on vacation and stuff, like I'm psychotic about it. Like I travel with my weights. I've done this stuff all over the world, and people are like, "Why? You're on vacation." Well, but I feel better doing it, and then when I come home, I don't have to like struggle with the motivation, because that will be the thing that will kill me. Is like if I stop doing it for 5 or 6 days, it's so easy to become like 2 weeks, you know. And so knowing that if I just keep doing it, I'm not going to have to go through that period where I have to rev myself up to do it again. That works for me.
Yeah, that's a good point. Have you ever met Tracy, and what was that experience like?
Yes, so I've been to 2 Vitality Weeks, and then, like, what, a month ago, I guess, I went to the Goop thing in Austin. It's weird, because I'm, like, a very outspoken human being, and I talk a lot, and I'm very comfortable with people I don't know, but I'm not good in those kind of situations. Like, I'm like, I don't need, you know, I know she follows me on Instagram, but I don't know if she has any idea who the hell I am. So I turn into like a weirdo in those situations. I'm not like, hey, it's me from Instagram. I'm like, I don't know if you know me and I'm weird. But she's a person whose like presence is motivating, like even if you're not super comfortable in that. Like, and every time we talk, you know, you're around her and she's talking or whatever, like there's just always something in there that makes it worthwhile to go, even if like that's not something that you're super comfortable with. So yes, I have, but I'm not a good person in those circumstances.
Which Vitality Weeks did you go to? What cities?
I went to one in Austin, and then I went to the one in Miami in, was it February this year? Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. What would be your advice to someone that's new to this workout and, you know, just figuring out all of the weird things that we do?
Like, embrace how weird it is, and know that, like, eventually you're gonna love how weird it is, you know? Because that was one of the things that, like, whenever I first started, like, seeing people on Instagram and stuff doing, I'm like, okay, these people look good, but, like, what the hell are they doing? Like, it's so weird. And that was one of the things I was reticent about. I was like, am I going to want to like do all this weird stuff? But like you get addicted to the feeling of doing that weird stuff in a way that like is hard to explain until you've actually just done it. So I guess it's just like, know that it's going to feel weird for a while and you're probably going to feel like a total idiot, you know, like accept that that's a part of the whole thing is that you're going to feel weird and that people are going to look at you weird. And my husband is in the background and he, I think at the beginning he was like, what the hell is she doing, you know? And now he's like, yes, hi.
Hello.
I got him to agree to do arms with me one day, which was fun. And I think he was pretty surprised that it's actually like really hard, even with the like weights. Oh, and that's another thing. Is like I was so used to like lifting heavier weights and stuff because I was doing all these classes at Equinox. Pure Bar uses like low weights like Tracy does, but you know, I got into that. I'm like, oh, I can lift more weights and whatever. And I was very worried at the beginning. I was like, I'm going to lose all this progress. Like when I first started, I was doing the Tracy stuff a couple days a week, but I was like super paranoid about it. Like, am I going to lose the tone and stuff I have in my arms and all that stuff? So it took me a while to like drop down to where I was only doing the Tracy stuff. And I think that's not like the worst idea. Like if you're doing other stuff and you don't totally have faith that this is going to work for you, you know, like it's okay if you're not ready to go all in at first.
Right.
And I think that that's a thing because I've talked to like friends and stuff. I have a lot of people that I have like talked into doing it. And I think that was part of their concern is like, well, how am I going to stay strong doing this? And I, you know, even now that I do it all the time, like I went to a Barry's class, Barry's boot camp, which is like treadmill, and half the class is like treadmill stuff and half is like weights, and you use heavier weights. And I was like, oh God, I'm not going to be able to do this. And like, I did so much better at that class, like now, than when I was doing like Equinox stuff. And even now, I'm like surprised by it. Like, you're so much stronger than you think that you are through doing this, but you don't have a frame of reference for it because it looks so weird. It's like, this is like nothing else. And it is, but like, it's a good thing.
Yeah, and I think people don't realize, especially because we use, you know, 3-pound dumbbells and like now 5 a little bit, these small ankle weights, but we lift our bodies.
Like, that's the thing. It's like you're doing all this stuff you're doing. I'm like, look at me. Like I'm lifting my entire body into the air. It's a lot more than like a 12-pound dumbbell.
Absolutely.
And yeah, like but it takes a while to like mentally accept that when you're so used to something else. But like, be okay with that. Just don't give yourself time to like understand what this is actually going to do for you.
Absolutely. Have you faced any challenges in doing the method?
Nothing more than just kind of like, you know, not being used to the idea of it, and like, you know, that stuff took some time to get over. And then I have like hip problems because I sleep in like a very unfortunate way, and this stuff does require a lot of like hip mobility, and so that's something I always have to kind of work on. But I've also like been like, okay, like it's okay that your hip hurts this week and maybe you can't do all of this stuff. And that's what's so great about having all the options, you know. It's like, hey, there's like, if it's really bad, I'll just do beginners, you know. And that's actually a challenge for me, though, is to be like, hey, it's okay to do the easier thing. Because, like, long term, that's much better for you than, like, hurting yourself.
Absolutely.
But it is, like, a mental challenge to, like, allow yourself to, like, downgrade when you've been used to doing the harder thing. But you have to, like, protect your body. And I'm not like 25, so, you know.
Absolutely. So why in general is your workout so important to you?
I mean, if I don't do it, like, there's just a huge difference in like how I feel about literally everything. And I feel that more so even doing this than like other stuff. Because I, like, when I was doing, like, Equinox and all that stuff, like, that stuff is, like, really draining in a way that I don't think this is, even though it's really hard. And I don't know how, you know, I mean, I think you probably know what I'm talking about, but, like, it's hard to explain, like, now I totally, like, lost my train of thought. What was the initial question?
What was the initial question? Let me look at my list of questions. I think we were saying, have you faced any challenges in doing the method?
Okay.
We're talking about having to try to go back to beginners and the mental challenge that is to like let yourself do the easier thing.
Yeah, and now I don't remember what I'm saying. I it's like a salt scrub shampoo, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Hi, I'm on camera, like getting the piece of salt out of my ear. I'm not gross and picking my ear. I use this shampoo from Lush. It's very good. I recommend it.
We love your recommendations. You're a very real Tamily member, and we appreciate that.
I try to be that voice, and like, hey, it's okay to hate this thing,
Yeah.
because I think that's needed. Somebody to be like, yeah, you know what, that thing sucks. Like, occasionally you need that person. I think you need the person that's always like, this is great and I love it.
Yeah.
But I think you also need the person to be like, nah, this sucks. It's okay.
Right, exactly. The realness is what I definitely appreciate.
Thank you.
Have you received any advice from anyone in the Tamily that has been impactful to you?
I'm not sure if I can think of like a specific piece of advice, but I just think that, like, generally speaking, like watching all these people every day, like, and one of the things I missed about, like, Pure Barre and all that stuff is like the group mentality and like being in a group class, and like I was like a psycho, like I have to be in the front row kind of person, and there's no front row at my house, right? But like watching people and knowing that a bunch of other people are doing the same stuff as you and having like the same challenges, and I mean, this is like more intimate. It's oddly more intimate than like the environment that's in your class, right? Because like you're talking to people, like you're not talking to people during class speak. Right? I had like gym friends or whatever, but we weren't like discussing the struggles, like, right. And in a way that like people do here. And are that people motivate you, or like, I mean, there are definitely times where I'm like, I don't want to do this, but like, I post these damn videos, so I got to do it, which probably sounds like sort of strange. Well, and the other thing is like, my Instagram account like is not like a Tamily account. And so, like, there are a lot of people that follow me from, like, before I used to have a blog and all this kind of stuff. And so when I started doing this, I was like, these people are going to think I'm, like, totally insane. Like, why is this, like, narcissist posting videos of herself, like, doing exercises on the internet? Because that's probably what I would think if I wasn't doing it. But, like, it's just participating in it is, like, so motivating and helpful in a way that, like, you don't see at the outset. Like, you just have to commit to, like, all right, well, I'm just going to post myself looking like an idiot on the internet. And you just get so much out of it. And, like, the other thing is that, like, I think that, like, affects other aspects of your life. You're like, I'm confident enough to post this video of myself doing this weird looking thing on the internet. I can handle all this other crap, too. Yeah, so, and, like, part of that, like, relates back to my job, too. Like, I'm a trial lawyer. And I don't necessarily know that I would have been comfortable, like, posting these videos if I didn't also have to, like, walk in a courtroom and, like, argue things. Like, it's given me the confidence that, like, I probably wouldn't have had if I was just doing this. But anyway, yeah, like, it's not any one individual thing. It's just, like, everyone as a community, which sounds so cheesy, and it's, like, not the kind of thing I would have ever heard myself saying, like, 2 years ago. But, like, it's just so motivating to, like, have this group of people with, like, the same interests as you, who's also as big of a dork about it as you. Like, because everyone is, like, so comfortable just being, like, yeah, like, I'm totally obsessed with this thing. And I think people are, like, I've gotten weird messages from people and stuff about this, like, why are you in this cult or whatever? And I'm like, I know, I used to make fun of CrossFit people too, okay? Right. Yeah. But CrossFit people are more obnoxious. I'm just going to say that. Well, because I think, like, the difference between, like, a CrossFit kind of thing, and I'm not trying to bash CrossFit, I've never even done it. Right. And this is that, like, people aren't, like, trying, I don't feel like people in the Tamily are, like, trying to convince you that this is the thing you have to do. It's like, hey, if you do this, this is what's going on. Whereas I think other things that people get obsessed with, they're kind of, like, they're pushier about it, I guess. And I haven't gotten that vibe from people.
Yeah, I think that people are just very welcoming and, like, excited that you're going to do the method. But at the same time, it isn't the right thing for everyone. I mean, like, it's not going to be a fit for everybody. So you don't want to, like, try to force people into doing it, which, I think some fitness methods, they really, like, they're serious recruiters trying to get people to do their workout.
Yeah, and that is very off-putting to me. And I think if that were the attitude I was seeing from people, I would have not have been as interested interested in it, but everyone, like, you see all these comments, like, when I would, like, follow Loretta before I, like, did this or whatever, like, people are just like, oh my god, this is amazing and great, but no one's like, yeah, this is way better than everything else, and you all suck, you know? And, I mean, that's how I feel, but I don't say it, you know? I just, like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know, it's an environment that I didn't anticipate that I would enjoy, because I'm not, like, super positive all the time. Like, I'm very, like, skeptical of things and stuff. But, yeah, I've, like, turned into a total weirdo for this.
We appreciate that. What do your friends and family think of the method and your dedication to it?
Like I said, like, initially my husband, I think, thought the whole thing was weird, and he's like, you're really traveling with, like, ankle weights? I'm like, yeah, dude, but, like, look at my ass. And I've gotten several of my friends to do it, and I think initially they were like, this is weird, but, like, now they really like it and appreciate it. And I have, like, a group of, like, gay friends, but none of them do the method, but they're all sort of intrigued by it. And when I started doing this, like, I went to a party with a bunch of my gay friends, and, like, people were coming up to me at the party, and they're like, you're that girl with the videos, I recognize you. And so it's like they kind of think it's weird, I think, a little bit, but they're like, well, you look good, so I guess it's worthwhile or whatever. But I, like, unless somebody in my regular life, like, approaches me about, like, hey, what are you doing? I don't talk about it, you know? Like, some of my real life friends follow me on this account or whatever, but I don't go out and evangelize for the method to people that don't know about it. And I tried to get my sister to do it, and she does it sometimes. She's like, yeah, it really works, but man, it's hard. And I'm like, yeah, things are hard.
Yeah.
That's the point. But no, most people have been fine. They're initially skeptical of it, and then like, oh wow, like that's actually cool or whatever that you're into this thing.
Especially since you make sure to do this workout wherever you go, do you have any tips for people with trying to do the method while traveling?
I mean, the thing that actually it's stupid, but like, is just like, hey, I brought this stuff. Like, I'm not going to have wasted space in my suitcase if I'm not going to use it. And that really is like a surprisingly good motivator for me, because it's like, I lugged all this crap where I could have put like 7 more pairs of shoes, so I need to do this. And, you know, it's so much easier. Just remember how much easier it's going to be when you get home to, like, do the re-entry, you know? I think those are the 2 things that matter the most to me.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. What is something that is important to you that you would want to share with the Tamily?
Like, generally in life? Like, just be yourself and do your own thing, you know? And I think that, like, because there was one of the questions that you sent that was like, you know, what's something that you've learned from Tracy? And it kind of, like, flows into this. Because, like, you know, this is a weirdish looking thing to do or whatever, right? And, like, can you imagine, like, being Tracy and, like, starting this whole thing and, like, you know, you hear her talk about it, like, the skepticism and criticism and stuff that you face. And like when I got into like doing the method, you Google it and there's all these personal trainers that are like, this is stupid and it's horrible and it ruins your body or whatever. And it's just like, just have the confidence to like trust in yourself that the things that you want to do and are willing to try might work out for you. I mean, that's really kind of like the biggest thing, is just like trust yourself to like know what you should try and what you shouldn't try, and like be yourself, you know, like, and it's okay to like not think everything about this is perfect. Just like it's okay to think that about other things in your life, you know, like it's okay to be like, I don't like this one thing. That's okay. You don't have to, you know? And I think there are people that, you know, you see posts that are like, everything is great and they never say anything critical or whatever, and it's just like, hey, it's okay to not be that way, you know? You can be into this and love it and still have things that you're like, this is not my favorite thing about it. And it doesn't mean you have to abandon the whole thing, because I think that like, and that applies to everything in life. It's just like people want to kind of like run away from like a thing because like, I didn't like this one part of it, so I'm just going to abandon it. And it's like, when you do this and you're like, you have a week where you're just like, I hate this week, everything is hard and I don't like it and I don't like these moves. Like, don't abandon something just because, like, during a period of time, it's not what you want.
Absolutely. How important is the music to you in your workout experience?
Super important to me. You know, like, this week, the advanced playlist is, like, my stuff. like I'm much more into like the rap and all that kind of stuff. That works more for me. Plus like a nice mix of like classic rock and stuff. Yeah, it's super important to me. Like the thing this week where you're like doing the runners and then you like float over, like that song is so perfect for that. I'm like, how does she do that? Like how does she get that? Like it would be so hard to me to like do the timing on that. But yeah, that's like super important to me to like have a rhythm and stuff. Yeah.
Do you ever use your own music instead of Tracy's?
No, because I'm too lazy for that. I mean, there have been weeks where I'm like, I don't really feel this music or whatever, but I'm just like, I don't care enough. And I know a bunch of people when she was like doing all the Taylor Swift playlists were like annoyed about that. Not me. You can do all Taylor Swift all the time. I don't care. But no, I'm too lazy to do that. And I don't really have like great, music curating ability skills.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, let's see. Some people have been making comments. I want to check if anybody has a question. And anybody that's watching, you can type in a question for Star to answer as well. Tam Malaysia thinks this week is effing hard. I would have to agree with that.
It is. Like the last 2 weeks I've been doing advanced again, but like before that I took like 3 weeks off from it because it was just like, this is weird for me or whatever. And just kind of like to that point, like I felt like I wasn't like losing a whole lot in IMC, but when you go back to AMC, you're like, oh, there's just this like little boost, that like you don't get in like the lesser classes. And it's another thing is like it's okay to like if you need to take a couple weeks off from like doing that, yeah, you might lose a little bit, but like you can go back and get it, like don't be hard on yourself for like. Don't assume that you're going to lose a whole lot, but like accept you're going to lose some, but like it's okay because you can get back there.
Right. Well, Mara wants to know if you always wanted to be a lawyer.
Yes, I did. Like as a child, like that's what I wanted to do. Although I was like, I don't know why I thought that. I guess I was like, this sounds like an important job. And then when I was in college, I did an internship at the DA's office in Bexar County, which is San Antonio. And I was like, I think I'll do this. It wasn't like a super like well thought out decision. Luckily, it worked out. So yeah, I mean, oddly enough, I'm actually doing what I wanted to do like my entire life.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't anticipate that happening for me. My husband is a lawyer too, but his job sucks.
Oh, okay. Tam Malaysia would like to know what you drink during your workout.
So I can't have anything in my stomach. Like I don't even drink water because like I feel it like slushing around in there and I don't like it. Like I have to be like totally nothing. Okay. The only time I'll ever drink water is if I've gone to Vitality Weeks because it's so freaking hot. And I always am like, ooh, like you can feel it. So I can't really have anything. Like I don't eat or anything like that.
Okay. Let's see if anyone else typed in a question. It doesn't look like it. Is there anything else you would like to share since you have this audience at this moment?
This is a high pressure situation. I don't know. I mean, if there's like new people that are watching, just give it a try. Accept that it's a little weird and just go for it. And if you've been doing it for a long time and you have like a presence in the internet, know that like, if you're posting and stuff, like know that matters to everybody else. I think I speak for everyone when I say that. Like I really do get so much out of it. And it just, I'm glad you're all there.
Yeah. Tam Malaysia would like to know if you have favorite workout clothes, which I know some of your workout clothes are my favorites.
Oh, hang on, it cut off. What'd you say?
Tam Malaysia would like to know if you have any favorite workout clothes.
So I'm really into the Lululemon Align pants right now because I feel like they're very flattering. And I'm really into Outdoor Voices. I love their stuff. It doesn't get like soaking wet, gross while you're doing it. And I think washing it a lot, like it maintains its like integrity. Because like the Align pants, I do like that they do kind of get the fuzzies on them.
Yeah.
But they're really flattering, and I'm real into high-waisted stuff. Just because my stomach, I have a lot of digestive issues, and the high waist makes me feel better about my tummy being mad.
Okay, I think that is all of our questions from the Tamily. And I think I asked you mostly everything that I had actually sent. So I think that's all of our questions for you today.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you're doing this. I think it's very interesting to hear from other people.
Thanks.
And I should do this. Like, I would love to, like, have a talk show. That's my dream. I should do a talk show.
You should do some of the Tamily interviews.
I would love to do that. My dream is to really have a radio show.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, I just gotta figure out how, because, like, I actually have a thing that, legal analysis skills and whatever that, like, is marketable in that, but I don't know how the hell you do that. So, it's probably never gonna happen. But that's my secret dream.
Nicole wants to know if you have any questions for the Tamily.
Oh, dear. Do I have any questions? I don't know. I'm bad at coming up with something like that. Oddly enough, my job is to ask questions, but, like, I normally, like, have a prepared list. So
right.
I do it on the front end. I'm like, ooh.
Tam Malaysia wants to know what kind of law you practice.
I am a prosecutor.
Super exciting. That's why I love watching all of your little stories. Every time you have like 20 stories at the top, I'm like, oh, this is going to be interesting.
Well, and I never know how people are going to receive that stuff, but, like, obviously, like, criminal law is, like, it's on the news all the time, and there's all these documentaries and stuff that have come out, and I like to watch that stuff because it's important to me in my job to understand what juries are hearing, like, what are they hearing about the law, and I think it's, these are important stories to tell, but at the same time, like, it frustrates me sometimes because it's like, where's the lawyer on this show to, like, explain to you what's happening, and so I have this urge to do that, and I can't talk about my own individual cases because that's obviously inappropriate.
Right.
But I can say, hey, here's what's happening in here, and, like, here's what happened. Which the staircase was one of those things I couldn't shut up about because there were so many holes that, like, I'm like, no, I know this sounds bad, but that's because you're missing this important piece of information.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm glad that's well received because I'm like, are these people like, shut up, lady? Or are they, like, interested in it?
No, I definitely find it interesting. I don't know what the rest of people think, but
I get a lot of feedback and engagement on it, so I think people like it, but I never know if people are going to be like, all right, I'm sick of you talking about this.
Well, I think it's, like, just so interesting to see someone, especially since, like, you don't have a specific Tamily account and stuff, where we see a little bit more about, like, your real life, and you'll share your opinions about things, then there'll be, like, something that happens that you comment on, like, that's different than, like, with my own account, the only thing I probably do is post about workouts, maybe my jogs. But, it's just so cool to have that little bit of extra knowledge. And that's kind of the reason for wanting to do these interviews and stuff in general. It's like it just makes a little bit more of a connection in our community, and you can relate to people, and you can think, gosh, I really thought about being a lawyer, and then I hear, like, the things that you say or the things you've shared about your family and your parents, and I'm like, the same things happen to me. Like, there's somebody that understands.
Yeah, and, that's really all I'm trying to do. Like, obviously, like, what you're talking about is my difficult relationship at times with my parents, and so many people, I get so much feedback on that. Like, thank you for saying that, because, like, it's not, it's frustrating because when I talk to people in my real life about my issues with them and, like, what is behind them, I get a lot of, like, but it's your mom or whatever. And I think, it's odd because it's like when you're talking to people that you don't know very well, they're much more willing to be forthright about, like, what else is going on in their lives or whatever. And so that has been, like, it's been a comfort for me because it's like, it's nice to get that feedback, and I think it's been a comfort for people that I'm willing to talk about it with, because it's like, I'm not the only one, and it doesn't mean you're a bad person because you have these difficulties. And just my final comment on that is, like, people are like, I don't understand if you can't get along with your parents or whatever, and I'm like, have you ever met somebody that you didn't like or was a jerk? That person has a family. And so, the people that are related to them are also on the receiving end of that. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Well, we appreciate that, and we appreciate getting to know you. commented that to her mom, so she's
I'm
really...
here for you, Tamalasia. I get it. If you need to talk, let me know.
Well, thank you so much, Star, for your time today. And we will be posting the interview on YouTube, so it'll be there with the other 9 interviews, and it'll be on my story for the next 24 hours. And anybody out there watching, if you want to be interviewed, just send us a message. Thanks, Star.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
You too.